It's always an exciting time to have you join us on the program Healthy Living with yours sincerely, Oluije Oihokai. Now, today on Healthy Living, we'll be talking about something that some persons they feel to them it doesn't even exist. It's not important. As humans, as Africans, we should know how to, be strong, to stay fit, to stay on the shores, to make sure, yes, we are able to weather the storm, yes, come together and be strong as Africans. All right, so today we'll be looking at World Mental Health Day. Now, every 10th of October, yes, WHO set a day aside to say, yes, let's talk about mental health. And the theme for this year is access to service, mental health in catastrophes and emergency. Now, we have with us the person of Professor Igiato Adayofo. He is the HOD Mental Health, Uniben UBTH, and also Edo State Coordinator, it's National Society for Substance and Use Professionals. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, viewers at home.
Okay. Now, before we started the program, we're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
How important is mental health? The awareness, how is it in our country, Nigeria? And while we're talking, yes, you said it's not basically something that has to do with Nigeria as a whole. It has to do with as Africans, we don't take mental health seriously. Now, we want to know first off, why do we have this day, Mental Health Day?
Yeah, this day is put together by the World Federation for Mental Health and indeed the World Health Organization. It became imperative because of the obvious neglect of mental health by various stakeholders, by government and indeed agencies of government across the world. Meanwhile, the thing is with us. And so to draw attention to the imperative for mental health, if we must have a stable and a progressive society, these world bodies came together and declared 10th of October every year as a day to commemorate World Mental Health Day. It is an effort, an attempt to annually draw attention to the challenges with mental health and to how stakeholders, individuals and community must do everything that is possible to ensure that we continue to enjoy mental health.
Okay, now we have talked about mental health, the reason why WHO has deemed it fit to set aside the 10th of October for World Mental Health Day. Now, someone outside would not know, if I am going through this, how would I know? If a family friend of mine is going through this condition, how would I know? So we need you to expatiate more on the nitty-gritties of mental health, what mental health is.
Okay, first and foremost, mental health describes a state of well-being where an individual is able to realize his or her potential, able to cope with the normal stresses of life. The person is able to work productively and fruitfully, and therefore able to make a contribution to his or her society. And so, for example, if you are a teacher and then you have been able to go to school, get the required qualification, then you become a teacher, you are able to do your work, you are teaching in the school, students come, they pass through you, you are able to mentor them, they make progress and advance in their education. Invariably, you are doing all this, you are contributing to society. So in a nutshell, that is what it means to be enjoying mental health. But the opposite is where a person lacks mental health. How do you then know that a person has lacked mental health? A person lacks mental health where there is an impairment of thinking, there is an impairment of feeling, and consequently, there is an altered behavior. Because again, the way people behave is a reflection of how they are thinking and how they are feeling. And so to get back down to the practicality of this, anytime you observe a change in the way you behave, the way you feel, and the way you think, then there is a question mark.
Okay.
But often in mental health, when people's behavior begin to change, when the way they feel or think is changing, more than 50% of them may not be aware. So it's going to take a loved one to observe that
this person has
loved
changed.
one has changed.
Yeah.
Somebody that used to be very gregarious, somebody that used to be very sociable, you know, not keeping to himself or herself.
Yeah.
You know, there is a change in thinking or feeling.
Yeah.
Somebody who becomes unduly argumentative, you know, unduly suspicious, unduly, you know, accusatory. Oh, this person is bad, this person is this person wants to, is wicked, and so on and so forth. That's accusatory. So again, that is a change in thinking. Something has gone wrong with the thinking. So it's beginning to feel highly suspicious, it's doubtful of people and the environment. Then the behavioral. Somebody that used to dress very well, used to cut his hair very short, now wearing a bushy hair, you know, does not, is not bothered about his or her dressing. Then, you know, somebody that used to be calm and quiet is now, you know, talking while alone, you know, and then sometimes there's problem with sleep. They can't sleep well again. Others are sleeping or she is awake. There is problem with appetite, for example. Or the person is always angry, you know. And then, you know, sometimes when it's very severe, they may hear voices or sounds not heard by other people. And then they may have, you know, irrational beliefs, you know, what others don't believe in, what family members don't believe in, what has never happened, what didn't happen. You know, they may claim it has happened, and so on and so forth. So, in a nutshell, change in behavior. You know, for students, if their grades are dropping, a student who used to like to always read, now there is neglect of academics, and by the end of examination, results are poor, results are dropping. Then a worker who used to be very punctual at work, who used to be very reliable, somebody you give assignment to, he or she completes it, and then you know, get praises. You know, the person can no more, you know, meet up with demands. The person is, you know, is always appearing to be, you know, distant. I mean, there is problem with attention and concentration. You're talking with the person in the office.
Absent-minded.
Absent-minded, you know, from the way they respond to you, you have to repeat yourself. So all this will give you an idea that, oh,
something is wrong
has
somewhere.
gone wrong with this person. You know, recently, somebody got talking with me about a patient and said, oh, the patient now goes to the office and locks her office. But he's the kind of person that used to come to work as a very senior person in that office. She will go around
and check on people,
greet people. People will come to her, oh, mommy, and then, you know, an elderly, you know, woman about 60. So even the people at work were able to note that
something
they have to call
wrong.
the family and say, your mother. She comes to the office now, she locks herself up in her office. So change in behavior, change in the way people think, change in the way they feel, you know.
So what would we say triggers all of this? Now, before you say something, there was a video that I watched. I don't know, I actually took the PD to put it up. Now, the person was actually happy. Goes around with a friend, they watch football together. Now, in your own view, you feel, okay, the person that is happy is the one that is well, sound and all of that. And the person that is not feeling good, you know, has this oral on his face, being sober and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of it, we get to know that the person that was actually happy was the one that was depressed, was the one that was having one mental issues or the other. And at the end, the man took his life. No, he became suicidal. So would we say, what would we say triggers all of this?
Yeah, thank you very much. You have drawn attention to something very important. Indeed, there are mental illnesses where people will become happier than usual too.
No.
So it's not always
Being
about
sad.
a low mood.
Yeah.
Indeed, too, there's something called a typical depression, where the people can be depressed, but what you have may be some form of denial. You know, some of them manipulative behavior to hide their depression, and so they appear, you know,
happy,
excited or
yes.
happy to lay people. You know, but again, there are mental illnesses where people can, you know, be happier than usual. You know, that kind of thing we call mania. Mania is a kind of mental illness. The hypomania is a kind of mental illness, and in these two conditions, like in others too, the people can be very happy.
Okay.
So that one is happy. It's
Excessively.
not a guarantee.
Excessively.
Yeah, excessive
Okay.
happiness itself
Okay.
is a sign of mental illness.
Okay.
So if I want to answer your earlier question again, if you also observe that a loved one has become highly excited, you know,
It's cause
the
for
person is
concern.
laughing the way he or she didn't used to laugh before,
Yeah.
the person is now expressing over familiarity, highly sociable,
Yeah.
greeting people familiarly, also be worried.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mental health is, or mental ill health is too much to the left or too much to the right.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Dake. Right now, we're going on a short break, and when we come back, we will be knowing, yes, some of these signs and symptoms, and also if there are, you know, treatments for early detection of all of this. So don't go nowhere, don't touch the dial. All right, we're looking at mental health. Now, the short video you just watched, now some persons already, yes, like I did say before. Now, in this case, what would you say actually happened to the man?
Yeah, several things can explain this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes in depression, what you have is a fluctuation in mood. You know, what we also call a diurnal pattern.
Okay.
To depression, or to the mood, or to the feeling in depression.
Yeah.
So that in the morning the person has got a low mood. By afternoon, they can be like the man we saw now.
Yeah.
By evening, there's another you know, low mood sets in again. And then sometimes it could just be that he tried to make himself happy.
Yes, to get out of depression. Yes.
They think, oh, if I go watch a movie,
yes, I'll feel
if I
better.
go to the cinema, if I go visit friends,
Yeah.
I'm likely to feel better. Or if I try to exaggerate, you know, or demonstrate a happiness, like we are seeing here now, some people think that that may help, and so they may put up this kind of behavior. So the ability to, you know, be in a forum such as we saw on this telly now, you know, which may have lasted 1 or 2 hours, and then somebody exhibited happiness, excitement, that cannot exclude or rule out depression. You know, and sometimes the thoughts to take one's life, you know, can also come as an impulse. It can come suddenly, even in people who were not depressed, and they may just do it.
Okay, now talking about depression now, how can one differentiate between normal stress and mental health disorder like depression or anxiety?
Yeah, depression has got its features. Anxiety has got its own features. And normal stress has got its own features.
Okay.
For example, normal stress, even putting the word normal there, whether you didn't put it or you put it, normal stress is equal to stress. Now, that is something that is normal. We all, if we have a matter, whether positive or negative, we can undergo some stress. But stress is supposed to be something that pushes us, to perform, pushes us to be alert, pushes us to do the right thing. Like a student whose exam timetable is released, there's some level of stress that pushes him or her to read hard. So that is it. Now, when people have depression, it will mean that they have some features which will include there is unhappiness, or what we properly call unusual sadness. So temporary sadness itself is not also depression. Unhappy because salary
Maybe
has not been
something
paid
that just occurred.
is not depression. So the low mood must exist for every day for at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
You see? So it's not an instantaneous.
Okay, every day
for at least 2
weeks. Okay.
Then the energy must drop. There must be weakness. The person is always feeling tired. And then there must be lots of interest in all the activities the person used to enjoy.
Yeah.
You see? When people are under stress, they don't have all these three or two of these three at the same time. You see, somebody who is under stress may not be happy, but nonetheless, the person has energy. The person will still enjoy his or her best food or some other activities. So you can already see some difference. Then for anxiety has to do with excessive worries, excessive fears, and then coupled with what we call some autonomic symptoms. Some which means some things that ordinarily are highly regulated by the body system. For example, those who have anxiety will also begin to hear their heart beating.
It palpates.
And then they will have headache. But the clinical or classical thing there is that the person is having excessive worries. The person is unable to sleep, may not eat well, because the person has so many things he or she is thinking.
Okay, is there an organ of the body that, triggers all of this?
No, not a particular organ, but people can have an illness, a physical illness for that matter, in any part of their body, and then they can respond with psychological issues, which may be severe enough to now merit a diagnosis of a mental disorder.
Okay, so can this be managed, mental illness?
Yeah, of course. Mental illnesses can be managed. That's why there are doctors. That's why there's a specialization in medicine called psychiatry. That's why you have people you call mental health professionals. All of us, we are treating people who have mental illnesses, and then there are medicines everywhere, plenty of medicine nowadays
to help
that are used to treat mental health problems.
Okay. Now, are there more mental health issues common now, or are people just more open about them?
Yeah, the two.
Okay.
Yeah, the two. The two are correct. The prevalence of, or the incidence too of mental illnesses has gone up because of all the issues surrounding us. Catastrophes. I mean, which is what this year team is trying to talk about. Even in villages now, villages will be peaceful. Now it appears now that it's risky now to even visit your village, because some people have taken over the forest. They are kidnapping people. They are killing people even after the ransoms are collected. People are asleep in the night. Whole communities are set ablaze. So all these kind of things, they are bound to increase the happenings or the experiences of mental illnesses. Then again, awareness is also better than what it ever was, because many years ago, if you had a mental illness, everybody said it was a spiritual problem. Everybody said it was witchcraft.
Those are part of the misconceptions.
Yes. Now you have native doctors, you have spiritualists, you have priests, all directing patients to the hospital. For example, when I first started mental health training years ago, there was no call room for people who were specializing in psychiatry.
Yeah.
It was as if, you know, the number of patients coming during call hours was highly limited. And so it was cheaper to say, okay, if you are a resident doctor in psychiatry or mental health, be at home. When you are needed, we'll come and pick you. But by the time the, you know, patients started coming in large numbers, then now the hospital has got many rooms for, you know, mental health practitioners who are on call. So that tells you awareness has gone up, and of course there are research evidence to show that yes, people are now more aware. But of course, I mean, many television stations, many radio stations, unlike what used to be in those days, and so everybody's talking about mental health. But we want it to be, we want to talk more about mental health. We still need to, awareness is very high now. I think the problem now is the paucity of manpower, paucity of infrastructure. That's the challenge we are facing now. You know, the mental health practitioners in those states, for example, where are they located? Benin City, and then some at Irua. You see? But meanwhile, Edo State is more than these two locals.
Yes.
So which means there is a serious problem of manpower, serious problem of infrastructure. But awareness has far expanded beyond what the relevant agencies are doing to ensure that, oh, now that our people are not coming to the hospital, what do we have on ground to look after them? So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now quickly, when we talk about mental health, we're looking at the old, the young. Now, is this also affects children?
Of course. Yeah. There can be mental health issues in children.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. For example, you have a group of illnesses that are called pervasive developmental disorders. You see, these are mental health problems that you begin to even observe in children who are even young as less than 2 years.
Okay. Okay.
And then even the so-called very worst mental illnesses, you know, sometimes in adolescence. In fact, mental illnesses, most of them start in adolescence. Okay. Adolescent, 10 years to 19 years. So nobody is spared. Just like physical illnesses.
Yes. Yes.
An old person can have a heart disease. Sometimes some babies are born with heart disease.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Very well. Very well.
So illnesses are like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Egiato Adayonfo. Yes. Thank you so much for taking out your time today to be with us on Healthy Living. We have been talking about World Mental Health Day and the theme access to service, mental health in catastrophe and emergency. Now, it's good for you to know the signs. Yes, it's good for you to also know your relatives too, okay? Now, we need to help each other for us to be in the better society. So we'll be seen again next week for another exciting time on Healthy Living. Till then, do have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.